This is the first of a series of videos in which I intend to guide you through the process of creating a website from scratch. In order to create your website, the first thing you need is a domain name. You have to buy your domain from a domain provider. This is usually a very cheap thing that might cost you around 20 or 30 bucks a year. So today's video is on how to choose the perfect domain name. Choosing the right domain name when creating a website is one of the most important things to take into account. Because your domain name is not just a web address. Your domain name becomes your brand, your identity, and the way people will remember you online. And the truth is that many people choose the wrong domain name and then they regret it because they built their website around a domain name which is not the right one. So it's like building a whole house with a fundament which is not solid. So let's start with some tips to help you choose your domain name. First, keep your domain name short and easy to remember. It is clear that with millions of websites around the World Wide Web, many short domain names are already taken, and perhaps you are thinking about a name around which you want to build your company and it's already taken. Then perhaps you will have to take some workarounds. If someone hears your domain name once, they should be able to spell it correctly. The simpler, the more powerful. For example, Talariasoft.com. That is short, it's clear, and it's easy to pronounce. Now compare that to something like best-cheap-online-2026.net. That would be too long, too confusing, and honestly, it looks very unprofessional. Second tip. If possible, avoid hyphens and strange spellings. Domains like my-super-web-site-.com don't look very good. They are harder to remember and easier to mistype. And in the end, choosing a domain for your website is a question of building trust with your future clients. If they see that your domain name is too long, too cumbersome, too difficult to pronounce, too difficult to spell, too difficult to type, they are not going to trust you. People trust clean and simple domains much more. It's a psychological thing. Third tip. If possible, try to get the .com extension. .com is still the most recognized and trusted extension worldwide. Of course, other extensions might work well. For example, .org is good for communities and professional projects. .io is popular among tech startups. And country domains such as .es, .fr, .us, or .de are good if you intend only to extend your website in your country. That is to say, if you expect your audience only to be from the country you are in. But in general, if the .com version is available and affordable, that's usually the best option. Another very important tip. Think long-term. Many beginners choose domains that are too specific. For example, best WordPress site 2026.com. Oh, that's great. But then what happens in 2027? Or What if your project changes completely? Try to choose a domain that gives you room to grow. The same thing applies to niches. If somebody creates cheapdogtoystore.com and later wants to expand into other products, that name becomes too limiting. A broader and more flexible name would be better. Now, before we continue, if you're looking for a place to register your domain and also host your website, I recommend you to check Hostinger. It is very good, especially for beginners. The interface is simple. The prices are usually very affordable. They are very professional. Their speed is great. And they haven't given me any problem in all the time I've been working with them. Right now, they offer AI tools with which you can build your website in no time. And we will check them out in our next video. So if you want to check Hostinger out, then I recommend you to click on the link below for discounts on Hostinger. And if you cannot click, then just copy the link and paste it in your browser. There is another thing that many people forget. Check social media availability too. Before buying your domain name, see whether the YouTube name, Instagram, TikTok, or X account is already taken. The best of the world is when you choose the domain name you want. It is a .com and it is already available in YouTube, in Instagram, TikTok, and X. Then in that case, you can build an ecosystem with just your domain name. It will be recognizable all over the platforms. And that's great, because nowadays branding is not just your website, it's everywhere. And another important warning, avoid using famous trademarks in your domain name. For example, OpenAITools.com or AmazonWebsiteBuilder.net, because that can create legal and monetization problems. Your domain name should be your brand, not somebody else's. And here is a surprisingly useful trick. Say the domain name out loud, seriously. Some names look good when written, but sound awkward or confusing when pronounced. And if you plan to create YouTube videos, business or content online, pronunciation matters a lot. Another thing that matters a lot is that you shouldn't get obsessed with a perfect domain name. Sometimes choosing the domain name shouldn't take you a very long time, because if it does, it really stops you from going forward with your business. It is important to choose a good domain name, but you shouldn't get obsessed about it. And one last but not least thing, never allow a freelancer, a friend, or an agency buy the domain name for you. Your domain name should be yours. You should be the one who buys it. Never depend on anyone else. Why? Because if problems appear, you might lose your access to your website and your business. And now let's get into choosing our domain name. I've chosen Hostinger.com as a domain name provider. And actually what we're going to do, we're going to go to this box here and we're going to type in the domain we want. So for example, I don't know, superwebsite.com. Then we will click here and check whether that domain name is available or not. Yeah. Well, we've got the .online, So the first year will be less than $1, and for the second year it will be $35.99. We've got Tech AI.io, online pro store space. Well, we've got a lot of dots, right? But we haven't found .com. So in the end, it's just a question of testing whether you can find the domain name you like, or you have to adapt to something similar, which is not the most desirable thing. Let's try to My Super Website. It's already taken. And then you've got many other dot whatever, right? Then you also have the option, although I taught you not to use hyphens, but perhaps a hyphen would do. Superwebsite.com is already taken. That's one of the problems of the World Wide Web, that we have millions of websites. Let's check for example, my awesome site.com. See whether that is taken or not. My awesome site is already taken. Let's try with a hyphen. A hyphen won't hurt, but many hyphens will hurt. See? You can choose this one. Again, to my taste, this domain name is a bit too long and it has a hyphen. It would be much better if you can avoid it. But of course, it's just a question of checking whether they are available or not. And then you have to think about several combinations. And remember, if there are no hyphens, that is much better. If it is a .com, then it is also very good. And if it is shorter, it would be great as well. And avoid very cumbersome names. So for example, like my X awesome D X site W site, something like that. Don't do something like that. Your domain name must be recognizable. Okay, so from that on, you can buy it. In this case, this domain name would cost almost free for the first year, but they would make you pay for 3 years. So you would have to pay like 38 or let's check the cost, $39.99, because you're paying for 3 years. Yeah, your domain name is usually renewed every year, and they will charge every year whatever they have to charge you. So in this case, you've got your domain registration, 3 years. First year is almost free. There is the ICANN fee. The ICANN is the global organization that organizes the domain names, coordinates domain names, and the internet's domain system. So it's something you always have to pay if you buy a domain name. So as you can see here, you are charged for the domain name registration, you are charged for the ICANN fee, and for taxes. In the end, you will have to pay almost $50. If you've got a coupon, then perhaps they may give you a 20% discount. But this is for 3 years, so it's not bad at all. So, and that's more or less all about choosing a domain name. If this video somehow helped you, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That would really help the channel grow and allow me to continue creating some more videos that I hope you find useful. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.